Ani and Nsisong, it's a joy and an honor for me to join you guys from California on this remarkable day of the two of you joining your lives together there in Texas. I wanted to offer this brief word, sermonette, if you will, on your special day. It comes from the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 13. Jesus is speaking. Here's what Jesus says: There's no greater love than for one to lay down his or her life for a friend. And then he concludes the next verse by saying, I have called you friend, if you keep my commandment. I want to talk just briefly about that verse. Listen, guys, it begins by saying, there's no greater love than this. Now, of course, this verse is taking place inside of a conversation that Jesus is having with his disciples less than 24 hours before his crucifixion. It's really about the kind of relationship that Jesus expects to have with those who would be his followers. And he's describing a relationship defined by love. And so he says there's no greater love than this. Here's the point. Jesus is describing the highest quality of love that you can find anywhere on the planet. He's saying, I'm about to explain that. So, of course, why wouldn't the two of you want to build your love, your relationship, your marriage, out of the highest quality of love you can find? No greater love. And secondly, he begins to describe it. And what I want to really talk about is the blueprint for a lasting marriage. And the first insight to building a lasting marriage is in the word. He says, no greater love than one who will lay down his life for a friend. Friend. Friendship. That's the first insight. I want to suggest to the two of you, the way to build a lasting marriage is to build a lasting friendship. Friendship. You know, at the end of the day, romance will come and go. The joy of sex will come and go. I'm sure you guys are looking fabulous today, but ultimately, the vicissitudes of life will mark you. But your friendship, that will last. Cultivate that. Nurture that. Build that. That's what was being born, Ani, when your bride showed up at your grandmother's funeral. That's what was being born when you guys had tons of telephone conversations. Friendship. Nurture your friendship. Be each other's best friend. Jesus says, listen, I'm going to treat everybody who trusts me as though you're my best friend. And I so desperately want you to have everlasting life and to know love at its best that I'm going to demonstrate how much I love you. I'm going to die for my best friends. That takes us to the second point. How to build a lasting marriage is found in the word, no greater love than this, than one who will lay down his or her life. I want the both of you to say with me, just say lay down. Everybody say lay down. Lay down. Jesus is saying, I'm taking the most precious thing that I have, my life, and I'm going to show you how much I love you. I'm going to lay it down. Now, if you get this insight, this will help you to resolve 95% of all your arguments and conflict. Here it is. If both of you are able to prioritize the needs and the interests of the other above your own, can you lay down your interests and your needs for the other? Can you lay down the most precious thing that you desperately want to accommodate the other? Lay down. If both of you have that attitude, you'll work through most of your conflicts and you'll come out remarkably powerful. The last point is also found in this notion of laying down. Jesus is really talking about the crucifixion that's going to take place the very next day. And in that crucifixion, he's making atonement for all of us who will put our faith in him. It's about forgiveness. Here's the third insight to building a lasting marriage. The first, cultivate your friendship. The second, prioritize the interests and needs of the other over your own. And the third, get this, lay down your right to punish the other when he or she wounds you. You get that? Lay down your right. It's your right to fight back, to punish. But you're going to lay it down when he or she wounds you. That's what Jesus teaches us. You know, Jesus approaches us all with a very realistic perspective that we're sinners. And that ultimately Jesus says there's something fabulous about us that's worth his death to get to it. A lot of us say, she or he, well, they're not perfect, but they're perfect for us. I want to suggest as I close this out that each of you say, no, I'm imperfectly yours. Which means, kind of like the guy who, or woman who dresses in the suit, and they go to get the honey out of the beehive, and when they put their hand in the beehive, they're stung 1,000 times in order to get that honey out. Now, of course, they have a suit on. Here's what Jesus says. You know, there's something so remarkably precious about your life that without a suit, the crucifixion is him putting his hand in the beehive, being stung 1,000 times to save us. And when you say that you're imperfectly yours, you're saying, you know what, when you extend your love into my life, you're going to be stung 1,000 times. But at the end of the day, I'm willing to be stung because you're worth it. And I pray the same for you because I'm imperfectly yours. There you have it. Do those three things. Be each other's best friend. Surrender your interest to that of the other. And surrender, lay down the right to punish when you're wounded. And God will do the rest. God bless you guys. I love you. Can't wait to see you when you get back here in California.